up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are back with another episode. I don't even know if I want to call this Lions latest. I would just call this Detroit Lions draft rumors. There has been some draft rumors today that have been absolutely just nuts. So let's get it started.
I got to shout out Dose of Dion, man, because it was actually the first time I went live on YouTube. And, guys don't know, Dose of Dion, he put out a lot of good content for the Detroit Lions.
Welcome everybody to another video. Glad you guys are here. And yes, the craziness has definitely begun. Actually, we've seen it for a while now, but it continues today, one day away from the NFL draft. And you got to believe that there's going to be even more rumors to come, and probably more rumors tomorrow before the draft even starts. With new general manager, new head coach, just new regime in total, it's very difficult to have a guess on what the Lions will do in this year's draft. I don't know what they're going to do. Do you know what they're going to do? Are you a psychic? Maybe you do know. I don't know. I'm going to try to predict. I'm going to do my predictive mock draft soon, but I'm not sure what the Lions are going to do. But there's definitely a lot of rumors out there, and we've heard it all. I feel like we've heard it all. We've heard Lions are going offensive line. Lions are going receiver. Lions don't want receiver. Lions and Micah Parsons. We've heard a lot of different things. Don't count out quarterback. But what's actually true and what's not? All those questions are, of course, going to be answered tomorrow, and that's going to be exciting. Sometimes it's more exciting than you expect, and other times maybe not. But we don't know, so I think this time is going to be exciting either way. Regardless, there has been some rumors out there for the Detroit Lions draft. This was put out by ESPN's Jeremy Fowler. And let me just say, some of the things that he said are probably going to make you surprised a little bit. Okay, they're probably going to make you like, what? That's how I reacted when I read some of this, okay? So let's talk about the rumors that Jeremy Fowler has out there for the Detroit Lions and what they could be looking to do with their first-round pick. Remember, these are just rumors. We don't know if this is true or not. We'll find out tomorrow. We're going to find out tomorrow night what's true and what's not. But let's talk about what Jeremy Fowler gave us. The first part Jeremy Fowler said is, do not count out quarterback. Not their primary focus, but don't count it out, I guess, depending on what the 49ers might do. So that could mean that maybe if the 49ers take a certain quarterback, someone falls, could the Lions be interested in trading up? Or if someone slipped to 7 and then obviously gives them trade back opportunities. He just said, do not count out quarterback. I'm not counting out quarterback when you have John Dorsey in your front office. I don't think you can count out quarterback. But I don't believe they will do it. If they're going to draft a quarterback, it would be next season. After seeing Jared Goff for this season, knowing how his contract is set up, that you really are kind of with him for 2 years. So next year would make a lot more sense to me to just wait till next year. But we'll see. We'll see. Obviously, if you love someone and they slip to you or you could go up and get them, you kind of got to do it because that was the point of free agency. That was your whole goal, was to make it so you could just draft who you thought was best player available. Maybe not moving up, but maybe just saying, hey, if he falls to 7, let's just take him if we really like him. I don't know who that is. I don't really have a quarterback like that, but maybe the Lions do. I don't know. Just don't count out quarterback. Next part that he brought up is that the Detroit Lions defensively like 2 guys. Now, these are the only 2 guys that he brought up here. Those 2 guys include, number 1, Micah Parsons. And number 2, this is an interesting one. It's not someone that we've talked about. This is Jaelan Phillips. What? Now, here, I told you guys, man, just look out for those guys that we have not talked about. If we have not talked about him, there's a chance that the Lions draft him because we just don't know what's going to happen. We hear all this, Lions are going to go this way. And all of a sudden, they'll just throw us completely off guard and go something that maybe we didn't expect to have happen. And Jaelan Phillips, to me, would be one of those guys. Now, what Jeremy Fowler said is that would likely be on a trade back scenario, which makes sense. Trading back, getting Micah. If Micah's not there, maybe you go with the Jaelan Phillips. But Jaelan Phillips is a very interesting option for the Detroit Lions because I didn't think the Lions would go this high for an edge rusher position. Now, there are some concerns with Jaelan Phillips. We have not done a video on Jaelan Phillips, but I thought I would just talk a little bit about him in today's video. And of course, the Lions draft him. We're going to break it down. But let me just give you guys a quick little background on who Jaelan Phillips is. Jaelan Phillips is an edge out of Miami, 6'5", 260 pounds. But man, his story is crazy. It's a crazy journey to getting to Miami last season, putting up the great season that he did, and now potentially being a first-round pick. Jaelan Phillips, going back to 2018, retired from football. In 2018, he retired from football because, unfortunately, of concussions. All right. Now, this is my biggest concern with him is the injury past. If you're going to retire because of concussions, that is concerning. We've had guys that have had concussions and it stinks. But, that is a very big concern. But he retired because of that 2018. He was trying to go a different route. This was a number 1 ranked recruit out of high school in the country. All right. The top of his position in 2017. And all of a sudden in 2018, he's retiring from football. That's crazy. He went from weighing like 260 pounds to 215 pounds. I guess he went to a community college to get his certificate in like auto engineering. Craziness. But then I guess he got a call from a coach. They said they wanted him to come back and play football. And, he went to do it. And he's like, man, this is just cool again. All right, this is what I want to do. And here he is. Now he's back up to 260, 265 pounds, playing the edge position. being just a beast last season for Miami, and now he could be a first-round pick. But obviously, those injuries are the biggest concern for me. When you watch Jaelan Phillips last season, he had 9 sacks on about 540 snaps, also 29 hurries, while 18 run stops. He's a really good edge. There's no question he's a really good edge. It's the injuries that really concern me. The concussions, the past wrist injuries, the ankle injuries. He was actually hit off his scooter by a car, and that gave him a wrist injury. Dang, hey, I'm sorry, that stinks. But there's no denying Jaelan Phillips, when healthy on the field, certain things that he possesses. And I think some people believe he may have the highest upside of any edge in this class. I know Gregory Rousseau's out there. I don't love Rousseau. I didn't feel like he had many pass rush moves. But Phillips seems more complete than Rousseau, yet he has extremely high upside. Being 6'5", 260, his athleticism is just so difficult to go unnoticed. He is so quick off the line of scrimmage. His pro day was outstanding. His bench press wasn't great, but in terms of agility, speed, his 40-yard dash time was a 4.56. His broad jump, I mean, all the explosiveness was there. When you watch him on the field, you can see it. I drafted a guy like Jaelan Phillips. It'd just be another, guy that can get after the quarterback for the Lions. Dom Capers, they're going to want to be more aggressive than they were in the past, but I didn't think they would use a top pick on an edge. This is not saying that they will. Of course, it's just rumors, but it is interesting that this name was thrown in there. The Lions have Okwara. They have Austin Bryant, who I don't think has proven to be a great pass rusher. But you do have Charles Harris now here. However, Jaelan Phillips could just add to that. And then you have Romeo, Trey, Jaelan Phillips. I mean, you're looking at Michael Brockers. You're looking at Jayshon Cornell, Deshaun Handick. I mean, that's very deep in terms of guys that can get after the quarterback. That's a lot of pressure, guys. Now, Phillips, because of his size, allows him to be kind of scheme versatile in terms of you can put him on the defensive line, put his hand in the dirt, or you could have him in a 2-point stance standing up with incredible explosiveness. When they play to the strong side, he puts his hand in the dirt and he goes to work. When it's on the weak side, he's in his 2-point stance and he can run things down from behind because of his athleticism. He can play a 3-4 edge, a 4-3 DE. I don't think right now he's really built to play the interior of a defensive line or even a 2-gapping scheme. I expect the lines to be 1 gap, so this could make sense there. But you have seen him play a lot of stunts, try to set things up. At college, he could do it, but I don't think maybe that's his best fit right now. Obviously, if you bulk him up a little bit more, then yeah, maybe you could be. I mean, his height is also a very big factor. Being 6'5", good arm length, it's solid. He gets in the way of quarterbacks in the backfield, and they can't see a thing. There was one play against Clemson where Trevor Lawrence went to set up like one of those screens where you look and then you turn around and you throw the screen. He went to turn around and Phillips was in his face. He couldn't see a thing. He's like, oh snap, turned around and threw it the other way. I mean, this dude is huge. This is a very big pass rusher. Another concern is that he did play against right tackles. Not to say there's bad right tackles, but college a lot of times is better tackles on the left side. However, he played against right tackles because they have Quincy Roche, so they had another guy that could take a lot of pressure off of him. In comparison to Quincy Roche, he does have the better build to be able to hold up on the strong side of the field. Yeah, I think he could get much stronger, but he does have a lot of upside. His athleticism, he has some pass rush moves. One issue on the field to me is he can tend to get kind of high, lose some leverage as a guy getting after the quarterback, especially when he makes his inside moves, because he's being 6'5". Once he stands up straight, an offensive lineman can get their hands in his chest. He loses all his power. Sometimes balance goes out the window, and all of a sudden he could be a non-factor in a play. But because of his explosiveness and athleticism, he can run things down. He's got great size to set the edge. He can set the edge really well, when he stays disciplined, because guys really can't beat him to the edge when he's waiting out there. You can't do it. He's a relatively good tackler, but as a pass rusher, he's got a couple things. He'll throw you with that 2-handed swipe, and his burst off the line could get him in the backfield just like that. But then he'll mix it up once he gets you set up and hit you with a nice swim move over the top and beat you to the inside right off the snap as well. Those are kind of his two go-tos, while also doing some kind of weird like Euro step move, or he'll kind of like set you up and then break inside, kind of like a basketball move. Plays with a lot of energy. He's always playing through a play, playing through the whistle, so he can get back into things because he's able to run back into plays even if he was out of position. One of the most gifted edges in terms of size to athleticism. You can find guys that are as quick as him, but not at that size. You can find guys at that size, but usually not that quick. Okay, that combination is ridiculous. And then he has one of the highest pass rush move packages in the edge class. I wouldn't say he has the most. I don't know if I could go that far, but it's definitely better than most in this class. Okay, he's one of the top guys in that as well. So he's day one ready. He's a big run stopper because of his ability to just flash out there on the edge. Sometimes he doesn't wrap up as well as he kind of just throws people. But I mean, he brings a full package. It's the injuries that are really concerning for me personally. He can drop a little bit into the flats. Doesn't do much more than that, but he can drop into the flats. But there's tons to like about his game. It's really the concussions. And I hate to say it, but it does concern the heck out of me to draft a guy in the first round that's retired because of concussions before. I'm not saying you should take him off your board, but it does concern me a lot to be your first round pick. I'm just being honest there. But who knows? Maybe if the line, and to me, this would be a very far trade back scenario. I mean, Micah would probably be gone by then, and then Phillips comes available, get a lot of draft capital in return, and then maybe you could go that route. There's some pretty interesting breaking news on the potential for the Detroit Lions to trade back with a team that wants a quarterback. At number 8, the Carolina Panthers have traded their quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater, to the Denver Broncos, who sit at number 9. Now, the Carolina Panthers started off with Teddy Bridgewater, but they made it sound like they didn't really want Teddy Bridgewater. So they traded for Sam Darnold from the Jets, which is why we know the Jets are taking a quarterback at number 2. So now they have Sam Darnold. Now they have traded away Teddy Bridgewater to the Broncos at number 9. Now, the Broncos had Drew Lock, and we were thinking they could be a team that could draft a quarterback. Now, apparently, according to the source, the Broncos are not out of the race for drafting a quarterback in this year's draft. So that's good for the Detroit Lions. But now the Panthers only have Sam Darnold, okay? No longer is Teddy Bridgewater there. So I think that makes it even more possible that they could once again be looking to potentially grab a quarterback, even if that doesn't mean them trading up. But because of that, it means teams behind could be more cautious now of a team like Carolina, who's already not out of the mix, but now they're, I think, more back into the mix of drafting a quarterback if one slips. So now I think teams behind them are more interested. And since the Broncos said that they still are not out of the race for drafting a quarterback, now I think teams behind the Broncos and Panthers maybe are more alive and alert again for potentially trading up to grab a quarterback. And we know the Patriots have apparently been reaching out to teams, and so have been the Eagles, to potentially try to move up in this year's draft for a quarterback. But specifically, the Patriots come as an interesting option. So this is really crazy because it makes Denver less of an option probably to trade up or maybe give up a lot, maybe more of just a slipping now at this point. But same thing with the Panthers is now I think they're more alive to draft a quarterback without Teddy Bridgewater because now they only have one, so they could have direct competition there. It doesn't mean they will, but as long as it makes teams behind them interested in grabbing a quarterback, then obviously the Detroit Lions, if one slips through, could be a great landing spot. So some craziness going on right now, man. It's wild. That's the second thing that Jeremy Fowler told us. But then he hit us with the bang. He just said, I'm going to slap you with this one. He said the Lions, could easily go after a guy like Rashawn Slater. Like that's one of their top targets, Rashawn Slater, right? We all kind of believe that, I think. But then he threw this at us. Many expect the Detroit Lions to go receiver. Now, that's differing opinions from what we heard from another source that told us many people close to Dan Campbell do not believe he's going to go receiver. Many expect him to go receiver. I think the media, a lot of them expect us to go receiver, but what does everybody else think? Okay, I think the main media, most of the time, they're mocking receivers to us. So I think the media does. I don't disbelieve that. But is that what the Lions are actually going to do? Is that what they're actually going to do? But then he hit us with this. The Lions tried to trade up for Ja'Marr Chase at number 4 with the Atlanta Falcons, but the Falcons' asking price was too high. What? I mean, I saw that. I was like, whoa. Hold up. First off, this may not be true. It could easily be a smokescreen, right? We get that. But assuming it's true, the Lions tried to trade up to number 4 to draft Ja'Marr Chase. Now, obviously, that would make sense because you're jumping ahead of Cincinnati at number 5, who could easily take Ja'Marr Chase. A lot of people think they will. Even if this is a smokescreen, that's very interesting. So let's just say we believe it for a second. It does mean the Lions really like Ja'Marr Chase, obviously, if they're trying to trade up. I don't know what they were willing to give up, but Atlanta had a way too high asking price. Now, this could do a couple of things. Number one, let's say Ja'Marr Chase is there at 4. Atlanta doesn't take him. It doesn't seem like they would. He goes to number 5 to Cincinnati. If Cincinnati, they take Ja'Marr Chase, then you have a very good chance of one of those top offensive linemen, because if Atlanta doesn't take one, which it doesn't seem like they will, no one trades up to take the offensive lineman, the first 3 picks aren't going to be O-line. If Cincinnati goes with Chase over a guy like Penei Sewell, Sewell will likely fall to number 7. He likely will, unless Miami surprises and does that, but he'll likely fall to number 7. Now, we didn't hear about Penei Sewell in any of this. He said Rashawn Slater. So do the Lions really like Sewell? I don't know. I don't know if they do or not. Again, if Atlanta, goes a different route than quarterback, of course, a quarterback could slip through, and all of a sudden then you have more trade back options, or you could take the quarterback. But it does seem like if this was true, the Lions clearly like Ja'Marr Chase. Now, if Cincinnati goes with Penei Sewell or a tackle at 5, Ja'Marr Chase could easily fall to 7, but Miami's kind of an interesting one because they could take him, they could not take him. We're not 100% sure there. But Clearly, if this was true, the Lions wanted to go get Ja'Marr Chase. They wanted to get in front of Miami and Cincinnati. They really like him. But this did not bring up any of the other receivers. So maybe they think Ja'Marr Chase is on another level, because if not, they probably wouldn't have done this. Again, assuming this is true. Now, this doesn't have to be a draft day trade. If you're looking for Ja'Marr Chase, it doesn't have to be a draft day trade, because we know who the first three are going to be. So if you can get that trade done now, of course, then you're in the driver's seat of the fourth pick. And even if you're not going with a Ja'Marr Chase, you have a lot more options. Trade back opportunities, quarterback at number 4. What's interesting about this is he specifically says Ja'Marr Chase who they try to trade up for. But was it actually Ja'Marr Chase? Even if they did try to trade up, assuming that part's true, could it have been for a quarterback with a smoke screen as Ja'Marr Chase? Penei Sewell, could they have been trying to trade up for the top tackle? Or did they Lions even try to trade up? Like, we don't know if that part's even true. But if we assume it's true, it definitely shakes things up, because number one, it tells you they like Ja'Marr Chase a lot. All right, now I had Ja'Marr Chase as my number 1 receiver. I didn't think the Lions would do something like that, though. I did not think they would trade up a couple of spots to go get the top receiver. I know they value receiver in drafts. They haven't had many first-round picks. The last time they had a first-round receiver was Tavon Austin back in 2013, the Rams, that is. Just want to stop in real quick to let you guys know that if you guys were ever interested in investing in our favorite sports teams like us as Detroit Lions fans, you guys should check out www.symbol.app. It's a way to basically invest in your favorite sports team and earn a payout when your team wins. So for us as Detroit Lions fans, now we can finally invest in something that we actually know. And with the draft coming up very soon, this is your opportunity to get involved. You guys can use promo code DOD for a $10 bonus deposit. Check it out. It could be a smokescreen. It could push other players down the board. They didn't bring up anything about Penei Sewell, so they did bring up Rashawn Slater, but they didn't bring up anything about Sewell. Now, the interesting thing with Sewell is Sewell and Chase could both be gone by number 7. If a team like Cincinnati at number 5 selects Penei Sewell, then number 6, Miami, could take Ja'Marr Chase. So they both could be off the board at that point. And then, yeah, that would make sense that you're saying Rashawn Slater, potential trade backs. And then maybe you're saying if a quarterback slips through where you have a potential to trade back, but then Kyle Pitts could be available, because if you don't go quarterback if you go quarterback at 4, Kyle Pitts is going to slip through, right? So Kyle Pitts would then be there at number 7. And some team may be interested in getting him, or you could get Kyle Pitts. Regardless, I think the moral of the story is the Lions have a lot of options, and they sit in a really good spot at 7, but that is interesting. Do you guys believe that is true, that the Lions actually tried to trade up to number 4 with Atlanta? Just a wild scenario I thought I would throw out there, just trying to put two of these things together. It does say, don't count out quarterback. It's not their primary focus. So it's not their primary focus, but it's there. Then it says, depending on what San Francisco does. Now, why would it say San Francisco? We already know San Francisco is going to quarterback, but what we don't know is what quarterback. So maybe this was a call thrown out there as Ja'Marr Chase that said, hey, Atlanta, if so-and-so falls, if this dude falls to your spot, what would it take to make it happen? And obviously, they wanted a receiver, but it could have been any other position that the Falcons and Lions kept between each other. And it's like, hey, if the 49ers pass on this guy, all right, then we want to move up. What would it take to move up? And it would be a draft day trade. You wouldn't do a trade now if you were aiming for someone based on who the 49ers take. Because if you did that, you don't know who 49ers are going to take. It mean that the Lions could surprise us all depending on what San Francisco does and try to make a move up on draft night to grab a quarterback, maybe a tackle, but I don't know. I mean, I'm just throwing some theories and ideas out there, because if they wanted to get Ja'Marr that bad, it could have been as simple as, yes, they had to have ask price. It wasn't going to happen. But you can't do a draft day. You can't do a trade now if you're aiming for something that is based on what the 49ers take. But if it's something that you discuss now and you're saying if this guy falls, then we'll do it. Obviously, you're not going to have the trade done yet. That is putting 2 and 2 together. I think what's the most interesting about this, that even if the Lions did try to trade up, the fact that they gave us a name, that they said the Lions tried to trade up for Ja'Marr Chase. I mean, they would straight up tell us, yeah, it's for Chase. Or maybe they're making reverse psychology, like, yeah, it actually is true, but now you're thinking it's not true, but it was true. It does support that the Detroit Lions could have actually tried to trade up for Ja'Marr, is that it's becoming more and more likely that the Bengals do select Ja'Marr Chase at number 5. So if they really want Ja'Marr, waiting until number 7 probably isn't your best bet. So if you really want Ja'Marr, you can't wait till number 7. So it could have been as simple as, yeah, they do want Ja'Marr Chase. Another idea is that this could be for the Lions to build up Ja'Marr Chase and keep pushing him up. That way the Bengals, are even more intrigued. Like, oh, the Lions want to trade up for him. We got to take him. So that way when they take him at 5, the Lions could be looking at landing the top offensive tackle. To them, that could be Sewell. I'm not sure who it is, but they didn't bring up Sewell. So notice they didn't bring up Sewell as someone the Lions could be interested in. They just said Slater. At that point, he may be like, okay, teams may not think about Sewell if we don't even bring him up. He's not even in these rumors. Teams teams aren't thinking we even want Sewell anymore. But he does want Sewell in the back of his mind. He's just trying to build up Ja'Marr Chase stock a little bit more. I mean, that could be part of it as well. I mean, it could be. There's a lot of things that could come out of this. Lions are in a really good spot, but that is a very interesting room. Buy it. Do you think the Lions would have actually tried to trade up to number 4? But it may make it so that when I do my predictive mock draft, if Ja'Marr Chase falls to 7, I'm probably taking Ja'Marr Chase at this point. Anyways, let me know your thoughts, comments below. Thank you, Brad, for watching, and I'm out.